What's poppin', world? Back at it again with another video for y'all. Y'all read the title. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is for all my people out there in the dating world, quote unquote dating with intentions. So if y'all one of them people out there looking for compatibility, a dynamic of substance, this is the video for you, because these tools are going to be able to help you filter out all the nonsense and really find your compatible counterpart, right? So let's get into it. This is how to vet when you're going about being in the dating scene. Now, if you don't got like a second opinion or someone of the sort where they can kind of see the things you don't see, these are some of the safeguards that I would sit up there and consider when you're getting to know somebody, right? So number one, right, because this is all about impression, nature, you only get one chance to make a first impression, right? So when you're making your first impression, you want to lead in with, what do you have to offer? Now, I know how people may say this may be dangerous, because then you could be putting an incentive for a person that wants to exploit you to see all your values, right? Before all the responsibilities that come with these values. So when you're sitting up there expressing everything that you come along with, like the benefits, like, hey, I'm this kind of person, I'm going after these kind of things, I appreciate and treat people with these kind of values. For people that's like, have some kind of complex where they want to take advantage of somebody, yes, there is a risk factor of leaving yourself open for some nonsense. But I'm going to tell you why you lead in with your do's before you lead in with your don'ts. Because it's all about impression. Like, what kind of impression are you leading on for a person? And with any relationship, a lot of it has to do with sacrifice and contribution. You feel me? Supporting something that's bigger than yourself. So when you're saying these things, leading in with your attributes, the good things that you come along with, you're basically saying to a person like, hey, this is the best you can expect if you expect dealing with me, right? So if you come off and, conversation, sometimes certain statements and certain realities and information sometimes serves as a mirror for either person to be in their comfort zone, right? To be able to reveal certain things that they got going on, or it could be the opposite, where then they start to turn away because they know that maybe they feel not qualified to be around a person that has all these great attributes and things like that, right? It's an intimidation, and it's human nature. You feel me? You can understand sometimes when a person is a little bit too overqualified for us, but some people still try because, it's to each his own. But that's the impression that you leave. Hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm going for, and this is what I'm doing to try to get there. After you laid all that out, in the same conversation, then you got to lay out your the responsibilities, the things that a person is going to have to live up to be able to get these benefits, right? So now you didn't explain the compensation. Now you got to give out the job description, right? So when you're giving out the job description, this is where your don'ts come into place. I'm not looking for that. I don't deal with people that do this. I don't, put up with this, or these are my non-negotiables. You feel me? These are the things that you set in place and be like, hey, this is what I'm offering on the table, the compensation. Now here's the job description and everything that comes along with being in this occupation, right? So when you vetting somebody out like that, because if you do it the other way around, I'm gonna tell you the problem doing it the other way around. If you lead in with your don'ts, I don't do this, I don't do that, and I can understand, like, because it's a defense mechanism. You don't want to waste any time, so you just might as well just cut to the chase and be like, hey, this is all the stuff I'm not with. So it doesn't even make any sense explaining what I can or can't do, you know, if these are the things that you're not going to be willing to deal with, right? Here's the problem with that, because if it is a person that's willing to deal with, you know, the things that you come along with, you never want to lead off with, because then that's how they feel like every situation is going to come off with you having the nature of saying no before you say yes first, right? Like I said, it's a defense mechanism. I'm not sitting up there saying you got to say yes to everything or yes to anything that you don't feel like you with. But I'm just talking about impression. You feel me? Impression is different from reality. And the impression is the invitation, the nature of how you're presented. This is the kind of person that you're bringing, because it can have all the same attributes and variables, but if you don't have them placed right inside that equation, you're going to come out with a totally different result, because then there's going to be a lot of miscommunication, you know, things going to be misconstrued, you know, a lot of misconceptions, you know, things like that, where you sitting up there, you communicating, and you're not communicating in good faith. You feel me? You're pessimistic. You're giving off pessimistic and negative energy, even though you mean well, right? And there's some people that can handle harsh truths, right? But by and large, in the most part, you want to come off as inviting as you can be if this is a person that you deem interested across the way or across the table. You feel me? So, and I had this problem, right? I had this problem because here's the dangerous thing. When you lead in, when you're getting to know somebody, right? And you lead in with your ideologies, you feel me, your philosophies of how you think things is and aren't, it is a healthy conversation, because then that's the root, I feel like, of compatibility. Your value system, where all your ideologies and philosophies derive from. Your value system. This is where all your concepts and perspectives and opinions and emotions, it comes from that kind of foundation, right? Your value system. So you and the main point of a value system is the word within itself, value. So you want to show off your value, right? And it's not leading somebody on like, hey, I'm this, I'm that, I do this, I do that, I do this, I am this, and then come around and be like, I don't want this, I don't deal with that. It's not to sit up there and act like you're leading somebody on, but you're trying to show a person that, hey, I'm grown, you grown. Yeah, there's gonna be some things we don't agree on, but the main part, right, of a relationship is compromise, right? Compromise, duty, responsibility. So, yes, the foundation of where a relationship is, and if you break down the word relationship, okay, relationship was shorter than that. Relation, right? Or relations. Then you break that down to its real root word, relate, right? So, can you relate to the person that's across from you, and what do y'all have in common, right? So once y'all have that established, the things y'all relate on, then I feel like the things y'all don't relate on, if what's most important, right, are your do's instead of your don'ts, you know, the things you relate on instead of the things you don't relate on, then I feel like the differences y'all have won't override or won't tip over y'all common ground that y'all established, right? This is the main point of vetting somebody, because if you give half of one or half the other, if you even give both, you can still mess it up. So when you're getting to know somebody, right? Let's throw out an example. I'm gonna wrap this video up like this, right? You getting to know somebody, you sitting across from them, and say, hey, like, person A is like, hey, I went to school. I'm studying to be in this profession, in the medical field, and I got all these accomplishments, and this is what's gonna take for me to get to the finish line, and this is how much time I have available, and these are the things I aspire to be. But outside of my occupation, I'm a person that likes to be social and go out and, you know, help people and, you know, see the better in people, right? If you then, person B, sits up there and say, hey, you know, I work at Starbucks, I'm fresh out of high school, or not fresh out of high school, but I graduated, the highest education I got is high school, right? But on my downtime, I also have a big network of people that I help, and, you know, I feel like even though y'all walks of life is different, y'all can coexist with each other if the intangibles align, right? So the tangible stuff is like your occupation, your lifestyle, stuff like that, right? But if the nature of the two people are compatible, then I feel like one can work with another, despite the big differences in between how each other person lives. So that being said, I want to know y'all thoughts on this. I'm about to finish up my way to work. Comment, like, subscribe. I'm gone.